Hi everyone, it's Katia and welcome back to the Hey Mentor channel. For those of you who don't know, I go to the University of Washington and I'm currently a senior studying biology and environmental studies. So in this video, I just wanted to go over some remote learning tips since I know it's something that everyone's been struggling with, including students, teachers, and me. It can be really hard to stay motivated at home and to stay organized with with everything being online pretty much. So I just wanted to share some things that I've learned and some things that have helped me through remote learning. So yeah, I hope you stay tuned and I can share those with you. Okay, so my number one tip for remote learning is to stay organized. That might be kind of obvious, but I feel like it's so important to keep everything on track and keep track of like due dates when your classes are assignments, just so everything logistically is laid out and so you're not getting confused of like when classes are and things like that. I know in the beginning of quarantine, I might have like accidentally slept through a class because I was like, oh, I forgot that was at a certain time. So I think it's really important to, set alarms, have a Google Calendar, or set something up that can hold you accountable for all of your assignments and tasks. So what is the best way to stay organized during remote learning? I feel like it's really up to you and what your favorite style of organization is. I use Google Calendar, which I think is really helpful. You can like color code things depending on like what class or what event you have, and it's really nice to just have like a layout of the week so you can see like what's happening on what days. What's also helpful is you can actually like copy and paste your Zoom links into your Google Calendar, so you can just like click on the class and then just click on your Zoom link and you're good. I know some professors can actually like link their Canvas page to your Google Calendar, so all of like the due dates and everything that are on Canvas can sync to your Google Calendar. So make sure you ask your professors or teachers if they have set that up, and definitely add that to your own calendar. In addition to my Google Calendar, I also have this, which is just like, wow, my lighting is so bad. But yeah, it's just like a weekly list of all of my tasks and what I need to do for each class. And then I don't know if you can see down here, maybe backwards, but I like to color coordinate it depending on which class it is. And then I have like the dates up here. I think it's also really important to separate everything by the class as well. So I actually use OneNote. So yeah, I'll show you guys my OneNote. So on the left-hand side here, I have all of my classes, and these tan ones are classes that I've already finished, so I just wanted to make them all one monochrome color, but then these classes down here are the ones that I'm currently taking. So like when you click on it, here we can click on Bio 465. When you click on that, it shows all of my lectures here on the next column over. And then my first column, I like to have like my class schedule so I can see what's happening every week. And then after that, I can show every single lecture. So we'll just click on one of them. And so you can probably see on the right hand side here, I actually take notes directly on the lecture slides that my professor provides. And I cannot emphasize how much easier this is. I used to I have a Surface right now, and I used to just take notes on pencil and paper. So I would just be like frantically trying to copy down like what the professor had on the slides in addition to what they were saying. And I found that's like impossible to write that fast, just because especially in STEM classes, everything is moving so quickly. So I really recommend that you get an iPad or a tablet or a Surface Pro or something where you are able to write directly on the slides, because it makes it so much easier, and you're able to not fall behind in lectures and just get everything down that the professor is talking about. Okay, and then the last thing I want to say about organization is to this might seem kind of harsh, but definitely call out your professors and teachers if their objectives or course outlines are unclear, because that's just going to make it a lot more difficult for you guys, the students, and for your teachers. I've had some professors where the Canvas page is just absolutely a mess. The same assignment will have different due dates, maybe in like the modules tab versus the assignments tab, and it can be really confusing and frustrating. So definitely let your professors know when things are unclear, because if you're confused, there's probably at least one other person who's also confused, and that will just kind of bring the whole class down. So definitely let your professors know if something's unclear or if it's not organized in a way that makes sense to you. Okay, and moving on to my second tip for remote learning. This one is about note-taking. So my tip for note-taking is to definitely pay attention to the structure and the style of the class and how it's set up. I know something new that a lot of my professors have been trying is called a flipped classroom, and this is where instead of like going to your Zoom lecture and having them lecture, all of the lectures are actually pre-recorded and then posted. So you just watch the lectures on your own time, and then when you go to the Zoom class, it's either like a discussion section or something like a Q&A session where you're just having more of a conversation with the professor rather than just them lecturing. So definitely pay attention to whatever structure your teacher has set up, and then you should mold your note-taking and study habits to their structure. So what I mean by that is, if a professor is posting lecture slides and in their lecture they are taking notes directly on those slides, then you should be doing the same thing with your notes. So download those slides and write directly on the slides. But say on the other hand, if a professor's lecture is just like no slides and it's just them, like it's just like their video of them talking at you in the pre-recorded lecture, then I would just take notes by like typing out what they're saying or the most important things of what they're saying, and then you can like have that in a Google Doc, and then it would almost be like a transcript of the notes of what the professor was saying in lecture. Okay, and my third tip for remote learning is to go to all of your Zoom classes that are synchronous. I know it can be hard, especially if you have like one early in the morning and you're like, oh, I could just sleep through it and then watch it later. You should not do that. You should definitely try to go to all of your live Zoom classes. So I really recommend this because actually going to a synchronous Zoom session can help keep you accountable and help you not fall behind in lectures. And then I also think it's a really great way to build a learning community. I know everyone's probably feeling really isolated at home, including your professors. So, you know, your professors are probably, or professors or teachers are used to speaking to a whole classroom of students, but now they're probably just sitting at home. So they're lonely too, and they want to see your face on Zoom. It's a way to build community. Maybe just even hearing another student say that they're struggling with something that you are also struggling with. It's nice to hear that, you know, you're all in the same boat and we're all trying to get through this together and make the best of the learning situation that we're in. Okay, and so now for my fourth and final study tip for remote learning. My fourth tip is don't procrastinate. Just don't do it. And I know that's kind of really obvious, and it's really hard not to procrastinate when you're at home and like school doesn't really feel like school anymore. I definitely feel you guys on that, but really procrastinating is just gonna make it harder for you in the long run. So don't play yourself, but definitely make sure to kind of balance your productivity and know your limits of studying. So definitely find that balance of school and, you know, just taking care of yourself during this time. So how do you not procrastinate? It's a great question. Probably something I struggle with and a lot of people do, but I definitely think, going back to my first point of staying organized, that could also include like setting reminders or timers on your phone for how long you should do work for. Maybe you set a timer for like increments of 20 minutes and you're like, okay, I'm gonna work on this assignment for this long until you get it done. And just holding yourself accountable, because you know your teachers aren't there to do that for you anymore. But I think the root cause of procrastination is probably your mindset and mentality, and how you're viewing the work that you do. Because most of the time we're procrastinating because we don't want to do something. Like, no one wants to do homework, I'll be honest, but we kind of have to do it in order to do well. So how I kind of keep a positive, I guess, attitude around school is to remember why I'm doing this, and what I want to do in my post-grad years. You know, this is only temporary, and eventually we'll all get through this and everything will be fine, right? Okay, so we're coming to the end of the video. I just want to end it by saying, you know, at the end of the day, your grades do not define you or your work ethic or how smart you are, but just do your best, hang in there. We all are going through this, but we got this. And yeah, I hope you're doing well. And if you have any tips or recommendations for remote learning, please make sure to drop those in the comments below. And also, if you have any questions, you can leave those there too. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this. I hope you learned something new or got some new ideas out of this for how to stay motivated and organized in remote learning. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.